Hi everyone, I'm Nelly. Thanks for joining today. From the title, it might seem like I have everything figured out. I just want to put it out there. This is a disclaimer. I don't have everything figured out. I'm still on my journey. I'm still rebuilding my life. I'm still figuring things out. So if you're watching this, know that I'm no expert. I'm still figuring things out. But let's dive right into the video. So whether you failed at an exam, which I've done, whether you failed at a relationship, what I've done before, whether you failed at giving birth, which I've done, whether you failed at, doesn't matter what you failed at. Just know that this video is us having a chat about our failures and how our failure has changed our lives. And for me, it has really been a process of rebuilding from scratch every time that I fail, using what I failed from to kind of be a stepping stone for the future and for what I'm doing and what I'm doing now or what I plan to do in the future. So let's dive right in. So where do I start from? I think I will start from, that's the thing, it's like there's so many examples that I had that I don't know where to start from. But let me start from exam. I feel like there are people who are watching who might have failed the exam. I started out in life knowing, like it was kind of like a knowing. I knew that I would do law just because everybody said I would be a good lawyer because I spoke and I liked arguments and I liked having discussions with people. And I came from a family of doctors. My dad is a doctor, my mom's a businesswoman, but my sister is a doctor. So it was also like law was the thing that I was already always compared to my sister anyways because of her medicine. So that is just a background story that we have to talk about for another day. But then I think as a result of that, I wanted to do something that was at par with medicine so that nobody would have to compare me anymore, which is a silly reason to want to do anything, But I did it for a while and I started enjoying it. And I was like, okay, this is it. I found my path. I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to be good at it. I'm going to be able to argue. I'm going to be able to put my point across. I'm going to be able to do this thing that I really love, this thing that I'm really good at, right? And I studied and I put in a lot of effort. But then at the end of the day, after the 4 years, I wrote the exams. This law exam that everybody talks about. And then I failed. And I was in shock because I really felt like I'd given it my best and I had studied and I'd burnt the midnight lights, the midnight candle, the midnight torch, whatever you choose to call it. But then I'd stayed up at night and really studied for this exam and I'd failed. And really that failure was kind of like a huge pause moment for me. And before that, I had failed before in an exams during my junior high school days before I got to high school. So I'd been there before and I was like, how am I here again? How had I failed again? How had I put in so much effort and failed again? And I had to choose what I wanted to do with my life from then on. Do I want to go forward with doing law? Is this my passion? Is this what I want to do? Of course, these thoughts came after I had cried for days, after I had blamed myself, after I had just basically given up. But after some point, after walking around and crying and sobbing and everybody kind of trying to talk to me to say it's okay, there's a reason for everything, God knows best, and all those things, I really had to sit down with myself and say, what do I want to do next? Where do I want to go? Where do I see my life? What do I want from my life? Like I've always done this thing because I felt like this is what I'm supposed to do. But really, is this what I want to do? Is it what I'm meant to do? And I sat down and really I wrote my pros and cons, the pros of doing law, the cons of doing law, the pros of staying where I was, the pros of leaving where I was, and prayed. I prayed a lot. I don't want to take out that part because sometimes we take, but I prayed a lot. I really put in a lot of prayer hours to say, God, what do you want me to do? And afterwards, I decided to move countries and start afresh. And starting afresh was its own blow. Like just going to a new country, learning a new language, getting adapted to the system, getting into university, studying again. And I chose again to be on the law path because that's what I'd known my whole life. So I decided to also do my master's in law, but this time to specialize in what I loved, which was human rights, which was people, which was like the aspects of the law that I enjoyed doing the most. So I decided to focus on that. And that really geared me towards my path when it comes to education. I don't want to leave out the path of also failing in relationships. During all these times, I was also in a relationship which was like full of its ups and downs. And I really, even in my journal, I have aspects of my journal that I'd written like as if this person was going to be my husband. All the things that I wanted and how I envisioned that future and all those things. And that also didn't happen. And all this was happening during the time where I was figuring out my life. It was also a learning curve for me, like understanding what it meant to not be with the person that you thought you'd be with, to not be the person that you thought you'd build life with, to really say, okay, this is also not working. How do I now think about the future? How do I pivot to what I'm supposed to do? So that was also a learning curve that I had to learn. I had to pivot completely in that aspect as well. So the main things that have helped me during my points of failure has been one, sitting down to think. And it's easy to feel like the universe is against you, everyone is against you when you fail. But what has helped me the most is really after, of course, there's time that you need to mourn what you've lost. You need time to cry, you need time to scream, you need time to go off everything. However you feel will help you in your journey, in your path to healing and rebuilding, do it. But then after doing that, it's important to sit down and really think, what do I want to do next? What is my passion? Why? Is there something I did that I could have improved on? Is there something my environment did that I can utilize or that I can learn from? Other people around me that I need to learn from? Other people around me that I need to let go of? Other people around me that I need to draw closer? Like, it's really a point in time where you have to think through your life. Because one thing I've learned about failure is that it's the best time to pivot. And if there's one thing that I feel human beings have to learn and be good at, it's pivoting. Because there are times that we can stay in one thing, it's not working, and we stay in it over and over and over again, and we hang on to it so hard, but then we know that it's not working and we just still hang on to it. It's important to know when you fail at something, is this a time for me to let go and pivot, or is it a time for me to hold on to this thread and keep on like pulling and pushing till I get to where I want to get to? So that's one point. Think about what you want to do. Think about what you did. Think about where you want to go. 2, pray. It's important for you to pray. It's important for you to really look inside yourself. And we all have gods inside us. We are all gods. There's God inside of all of us. Whether you believe or not, you are the creator of your reality. So praying can be meditating. Praying can be reading your Bible. Praying can be really sitting down and having a conversation with God and saying, God, where do you want me to go next? What is the path that is best for me? What is the path that I'm supposed to take? The third thing is, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? What are you strong in? What is your strength? What can you do with your eyes closed? What can you do with ease? And you might be asking, okay, I lost a child. How does my strength come in here? And for me, when I lost my son, one of the most important things for me was really focusing on, what am I good at? Like, this is what I'm good at, and it's going to bring me joy. So after I had cried, after I had mourned, after I had gone through all the phases of denial, gone through all the phases of like just disbelief, gone through all the phases of acceptance, I said, okay, what am I good at? I'm good at writing. I love writing. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to write about this. I'm going to write about this aspect of my life. Is it hard to do? It's hard. But because it comes easy to me to write, I can write and cry on the sheet, but then I'm still writing because I love doing it. So find out what your strength is. Find out what you're good at. And then zone into that. Whether it's, for example, again with law, after I failed, it was important for me to think, what am I good at? what part of law do I love? I love talking to people. I love the part where I research the case. I love the part where I write about the case. I love the part where I meet up with a client and I discuss what happened to them, how they feel, how I can help them. So I honed into that, and then I did my research on different things. I started researching other things that I loved, and I loved human rights law because I got to speak with people, I got to help people, and I got to write. So I honed into that. When it came to my relationship and my failed relationship, I really thought, what were my strengths in this relationship? What did I bring to the table? What were my weaknesses in this relationship? What did I contribute to the relationship, whether good or bad? And really writing that down as well. For me, I think you realize on this channel that I love talking about writing because it's what I love doing the most. And at every point in time during my failing journey, writing has really been one of my saving graces. So do what you're good at. When you fail, find out what you're good at. Out of all the things, there's one thing you're good at. There's something you're good at. You might think there's nothing, but there is. You have one thing that only you can do the way you do it. And how do you find that thing? Find the thing. Ask people, what is the thing that you feel I do that I'm at ease with, like that I do easily? The people around you who are close to you probably know what it is. And then also ask yourself, what is it that you love doing that you can do better than others? Or when you see other people doing it, you feel, they could have done this better. That is it. That's the thing that you're good at. Hone into that. Make that your thing and then work on it. Hone your skills. So when it comes to even failing at a job, I worked at a big company and I felt, okay, this is it. Like, I'm working here. This is going to be great. And the company failed. This time around, it wasn't me. The company went bankrupt. Last and final point is that everything is going to be okay. After the company went bankrupt, I felt like, okay, this is the end of my world. Finally, I'm at the best place in my life, and then this has happened. Now looking back, I can't even imagine how my life would have been if that hadn't happened. Because if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to learn new skills, to start this company with amazing people, which I'll talk about later in one of my videos. But that's the thing. It might feel in the moment that everything is fighting against you. It might feel in the moment that nothing is going to be okay ever again. But trust me, everything is going to be fine. And so in our last moments together today, I want us to just take in a deep breath and release it. And say, everything is going to be all right. I'm going to be fine. And I promise you, you really are. It's also a thing with a mindset. If you believe you're going to be fine, you really are going to be fine. So I hope today I've been able to bring a bit of light wherever you are. I hope that I've been able to bring you a bit of perspective and a bit of joy. And I am sure I'm going to see you again in the next video. So have a great time and be good. Bye.